Welcome back to Cards and Capital, the channel where we are playing cards to take other people's money, use that newfound capital, and invest it into the stock market.
The stockbroker?
No, I'm just a guy showing you that you can make money in stocks by investing your poker winnings.
So kind of the stockbroker.
Nah, I'm just a dude with a YouTube channel trying to inform people that they too can change their financial outlook this way.
Do you mind if I just call you stockbroker? It's the way I remember people.
You can call me whatever you want. As long as you're enjoying this channel, that's what really matters. The current balance that I have invested at this time from poker is $22,237. We're on our way to $100,000, and then we'll set a new goal. Normally, you're going to see me play a lot of poker in Spokane, Washington on this channel. Not this time. This time, we're headed to San Diego, California. My buddy Adam says, hey, I've got a room, I've got a rental car. If you want to book a plane ticket and come join me, let's go play some cards. I looked it up. It was $80 each way. No brainer. I don't have to think about that at all. We're going.
I'm never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap, got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, do that ass survive, doing 80 to the house, then I hit it to the sky, change haters on a tirade, talking to the crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe, I wanna live like I'm trying.
This is just going to be a short 3-day trip, and day number 1, Adam takes me to 7 Mile. They've got a good PLO game there, and while we're waiting, we have some delicious food waiting for a seat. I end up losing a little bit at Hold'em, winning some more back at PLO, end the night up $425. I'm going to give away money from that session at the end of this video, but now I want to show you day number 2, because day number 2 was the highlight. We got invited to a private meetup game with Poker Babbo. We're both stoked for this game, but it's starting later on in the night, and so we have some time to kill. We both know we're going to think better if we get some exercising. Well, Adam and I are going to go take a run out here because when Adam's on a trip, he likes to take a run, and because I'm a fat guy who is on a trip with a guy who likes to take a run. So we're going to go get a run in and see what the views are like.
See you at the top.
Well, a beautiful hike and a half run, kind of a jog thing. Adam keeps trying to convince me that cardio's good for you. I think all that stuff's funded by like big fitness. And by that, I mean like Adidas and Nike. They're just trying to sell you stuff. I want independent studies. Not biased. Cardio can't be this good for you. After the run, Adam wants to prove that everything they say about Mexican food in San Diego is true. He takes me to Chula Tacos for the best fish burrito I've ever had. It was phenomenal. Cannot recommend that place enough. Stop by the beach for a second just to take in the ocean, because how can you not? Take a quick pause, walk out on that beach, see the ocean, be reminded of how small you are, and say, thank you, Lord, for a beautiful day. And then we're off to the card room. We meet Poker Babbo, buy in for $700, and we're all ready to start slinging cards, even though there's only 5 players in this very first hand. It's a double board PLO bomb pot to kick things off. The cards we were dealt weren't amazing, but look at this flop. We have the nuts and the second nuts, the very first hand of the session. You saw the title of this episode. Are we about to start the night off with a gigantic double up? I bet $35, and Babbo's going to throw in the call. On the turn, things get slightly worse, but we're only 5-handed, and I'm sure I'll be good on one of these boards, so I lead again, this time for $125. Joey now announces that he would like to play for more money. Now, I'm pretty confident that I'm behind on one of these boards, but with the money in and the hands that I'm holding 5-handed, I throw the money in, expecting I'm probably going to chop a fair amount of the time. All in.
All in. Call. No more action.
And a straight? Dude, you might have me. I have like second nuts on both boards. Sheesh. Did you scoop it? You do, right? Nut flush.
3, 7 high straight, and nut flush.
Ouch. Okay.
What do you got? You got
Nice
3
hand.
Yeah.
Well, that was a terrible start. Down $700, one hand in. We're going to shake it off. We still got a whole night of cards in front of us. Let's see if we can get this thing back into the positive. The next real hand that I get into is 30 minutes later with the dealer change. This time I flop open-ended straights on both boards with a flush draw also on the top. I start out with a check, and it checks through. The turn gives me the nuts on the bottom board, and I'm still drawing very live on the top, so I lead for $65. Joey tosses in the call. We're doing battle again. We have a shot to get some of our chips back, and I'm not disappointed in that. By the river, I have the straight and the flush. Feels
awfully familiar.
I have like second nuts on both boards.
I would like to extract a bit more value from a hand that also has the flush, but not the nuts. I go smaller with the bet of 125. Babbo thinks on it, but doesn't look happy. Come on, you have the extra chips, you might as well see. He eventually tosses in his cards. Small win to get us moving in the right direction. I'm going to pause the session at this point, and we're going to try something a little bit off the wall. I've never considered what it would be like if I just put in a video game cheat code to this poker session. Let's put in the Konami code, see what happens. If you're thinking to yourself right now, nobody else I know puts the Konami code, any kind of a cheat code, into a poker session. Guys, I got tons of ideas up here, tons of things, and I'm willing to share them all with you. Don't miss out on them. Click that sub button down below so that you're here when I share brilliant ideas like this with you. Now watch what happens when you put in the cheat code. Now Ace King shows up on the button, and I raise to $45 over a $10 straddle and a limper. The limper calls after the straddle folds. The flop is a beautiful Ace King Deuce with 2 spades. I've pretty much sucked all the air out of the room here, meaning that there's not really many hands left that will want to keep playing if I bet. Therefore, I'm going to check this spot. Opponent throws out a bet of $60. I check raise to $200. My opponent raises all in.
Once or twice? Twice? Let's do it. Dude, nice jam.
This is just a 3-bet and a fold, but I'm putting it in there because the cheat code is working. This next hand I've talked through several times with many different people, and this hand is brought to you by Fastroll Poker.
Do you want to have an edge at the poker table? Then Fastroll has the solution for poker players everywhere. Never miss a detail. Log your hands quickly with our intuitive interface designed for live games. Study every move, review every decision, spot patterns, and fine-tune your strategy with Fastroll's powerful database. Analyze by position, hand type, and so much more with Fastroll's advanced filters. Your edge at the table is here. Become a crusher today and start tracking, analyzing, and winning with Fastroll.
If you want to upgrade like I did and move away from just putting shorthand into your notes section and actually have something that's easy to use and easy to copy from and review, then download the app from the App Store and put in the code cardsandcap during your sign up. You'll get a month for free to try out the app and see if you like it or not, thanks to my guys at Fastroll. I get pocket kings, and check out this action in front of me. Early position opens to $50 at a 2-5 game. I don't know why he went to $50, but he went to $50. That's a little bit scary. That could be aces. Then the button re-raises to $150. I want my opponent, who 3-bet, to be able to call with all of his combos of ace king and 10s through queens, and I want to set up my stack for maximum pressure when he does call. Therefore, I throw in a smaller 4-bet to $375. This is also going to give me information about our early position villain. If he goes for the jam right now, I can actually get away from my kings at a lower price. Original raiser ends up folding. My opponent on the button thinks about this one for a minute. He eventually calls. This opponent is a solid player who's been making some moves and is definitely thinking about the game. The flop is extremely dry, deuce 7-7. I have a few different options. At the time, I was thinking that I could bet really small, like $200 to get value from small pairs, and then jam the turn. Then I thought,
fortune favors the bold.
And I decided to make a play that you'll find explained by Dan Harrington in some of his books. Dan Harrington talks about when you go for a really big bet, they're not going to get called as often. But when they do get called, you make a huge amount of money. Whereas when you take these normal lines of betting small, getting some value, and then going for the bigger bet, a lot of people are going to call once and then fold because you're showing aggression multiple times. So basically the way I looked at this is I could bet $200. I'm probably going to get called like 90% of the time. That's worth about $180 to me. With a thinking player, I thought, what would aces not do here? I think it's very rare that they're just going to straight up jam right here for 1.5 times the pot. But what would do that is something like ace king, maybe with the spades, that just has some equity, wants to get the fold, and doesn't actually want to keep playing and try to get to showdown. So I went for this line. I went super aggressive, and I bet $1,200. I want it to look bluffy. I want him to be curious. I want him to decide, you know what? I got to see what he's doing this with. He would never do this with a value hand. He's going to want to extract value and then bet over multiple streets to try to get my entire stack. If I can get him to call just 30% of the time, this bet is still worth $360. So basically double the value of the $200 bet. And I think often when you make the $200, you're going to lose them on the turn when you bet again or jam your entire stack. It has the effect that I want it to. My opponent goes deep into the tank for about 2 minutes. Ultimately, just decides he's going to let it go, can't make sense of it, but doesn't want to call off for that amount of chips, and he folds. Tell me what you would have done in the comments down below. I realized that I colored a bit outside the lines on this one. I talked with Adam later. He said, what about checking? Checking never went through my brain. What if I check, allow him to bet, and then check raise? I think he's going to be incentivized to bet with almost all of his combinations that have called a 4-bet, so I really like that line. Wish that I would have thought of it at the time, but I didn't. I follow the king's hand with red jacks. I raise to $20 and get 1 caller. He checks. I bet $25. He tosses in the call. Turn is not too exciting, but my opponent now leads out for $55. This is not a typical play, and it reminds me of the many times that I've seen players hit a big hand and then not wanting to miss value, they'll just lead out. They think to themselves, if this checks through, it would be a disaster, so they just lead. The spidey senses are tingling a little bit. I decide I'm just going to call here, so I throw in the call, and we're headed to the river. The river brings in a 4-liner to a straight that connects to the ace, and my opponent now slows down and checks. I don't think I want to turn my hand into a bluff, and I think there's going to be a lot of combinations that he's going to have us beat with. I'm willing to value own myself here, meaning I'm willing to bet and be wrong, but I just can't find enough value targets that are going to be calling when I bet, especially with the 4-liner on the board. I end up just checking back, and he shows a set of 10s. Definitely a hand I think he should have bet on the river. This is a fun one, mixing in the 5-6 of diamonds. A quick reminder at this moment that I am a trained professional who has put in the Konami Code, so this play may not be for everyone. I raised to $15 in late position. The same opponent from the last hand calls. The flop favors my opening range, so I continue with a small c-bet of $10. Opponent makes the call. Turn actually gives me a pair, but any made hand that called the flop has my 6 beat, so I'm going to bet one more time like I would with ace-king or king-queen. $35 this time, and my opponent calls again. The river is a gin card that my opponent will never suspect. I fire $125 out there. He was confident on the flop that I didn't have anything. He was confident on the turn that I was still getting out of line. And on the river, he's still feeling confident. So he throws those chips in, and I just get to turn over the absolutely lucky trip 6s.
That's exactly what you expect.
Cheat code is working, and the heat check is confirmed on this double board PLO bomb pot. When I flop,
Quads.
it checks to me, and I'm going to bet small to try to get as many callers as possible because I don't have anything on the other board. The goal will be to build a huge pot with multiple players and take half of whatever we can build. Only 2 players make the call. That's unfortunate, but now the goal will be to apply enough pressure to take down the entire thing by the river. Let's see if we can get both players to fold if possible. I bet 125 on the turn with the goal of trying to go for a big bet on the river and get some interesting news as the opponent behind me raises to $375. Joey folds, and it's back on me. I'm hoping that he has a boat on the board that I have quads, but more likely he has hit a straight on the board where the 6 just came in. If I jam here and he does have the straight board, he's just going to call, and then we're definitely chopping. However, looking at the board, I realize that there's quite a few cards that could be a little bit scary. There could be higher straight cards, board pairs, or flushes that could come in. If any of that does happen, I will have a chance to get the fold and scoop the entire pot with a big river bet. The river is a very interesting 6. The scare card does show up for the straight. I rip it. Oh, the opponent is sick and talking out loud about how frustrating the river is. And then eventually, folds. I show the quads of the table just because it's fun and rare to hit them, and scoop up all these chips. There's an important part to remember when using the Konami Code. You need to occasionally mix in a loss just so people don't get suspicious. In this case, just to prove that I didn't win every single hand that I played that night, Here's one where I had queens and I lost at showdown. For this one, I get pocket 4s on the button with an early position opener. I call in position to set mine for some gold. Heads up to this flop. Opponent checks it over, I bet $20 and he makes the call. On the turn, we fill up with a boat and bet again for $50 when checked to. The river's an interesting 10 of diamonds. It brings in a possible but very unlikely straight, but it also makes some of the jack combos into a full house. That would not be ideal. But I'm going to hope that my opponent can call with an overpair or a jack. I bet $165. Opponent eventually tosses in the call, and more chips are joining this stack. You remember the player that I smashed a 1.5 times pot bet against with pocket kings? This is him again. Most people say that the ace-king is a good hand to scoop at the pot. My opponent, he'll raise it to $20. I'm gonna re-raise his sorry behind it to $65. Let me see if he really wanna play this pot or not. He say, yes I do, and he throw in the chips. This is the same player. I betted the crazy amount with the kings, eh? The flopper, she look pretty similar to her last time. He gonna check, I'm gonna check too. We see at the turn, which is a more garbage. He say, hey, I have the garbage. He put $50 in the pot. I don't believe you. I have the ace king. I make it a call. The river is another little third, and he say, hey, I still happy with my garbage. I say, no, I can tell you make it a lies. I toss in the call. He showed the sad face. I scoop it the pot. Like I say, ace king is she a good hand. You play it alright or you scoop it the chip. At this point, the chips are stacked so high that they just keep toppling over. It's getting annoying. I have too much money in front of me. I guess we're just going to cash out. Huge shout out to Poker Babbo. It was great to meet you and your crew. Thanks for letting us hang out and play in this game with you. Really appreciate it. Tons of money, and we need to give some away. Let's go to the Wheel of Cash. If you don't know about the Wheel of Cash, I give away 10% of whatever I win to my Patreon supporters. Just $5 a month. Get in there and get signed up. And when you do, I also share everything I'm doing on the investing side with you so that you can get kind of the behind the scenes and pull back the curtain and get some investing ideas for yourself if you want to follow me in this journey and make some money with me in the stock market when you win at the poker table. You can do it! Let's draw some winners. We got $46 going to 5 different members. Let's spin it. Sinatra, congrats. That's $46 coming your way. Spin number 2. Chris Hansen getting spin number 2. Congrats, $46, sir. R Bar getting spin number 3. Justin, $46 coming your way. Last spin. Here we go. It's Nonsense wrapping up the final one. Congrats, everybody. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. If you liked it, like it and sub it down below. And I'll talk to you on the next one.
Tyson, do that ass survive, doing 80 to the house, then I hit it to the sky change. Haters